Hello Animorphs fans and welcome back to AniLysis. Today we're looking at the other airport. What other airport? Well, it's the airport we arrive at in book 16. The Animorphs hometown has its own airport, or at least in the local vicinity. That's not the one we're talking about today. We're talking about the one that they arrive at in order to access World Access America, WAA. So what's the background behind this? The Animorphs have been looking at Yeerk chat rooms, and they're a bit confused because they're seeing all these people talk about Yeerk invasions and whatever have you, and they think, are these controllers, is this legit, or are these all real people, or is it a mix of both? Maybe it's the Yeerks trying to trap innocent people. And so they go to investigate. How are they going to do that? Well, I come up with a brilliant idea of going to World Access America's headquarters. They'll go there and they'll get into the system with Marco and Axe doing a bit of hacking. Not sure about how much help Marco is, but I suppose Axe would be good at that. And they want to figure out who of these people in this chat room are who, basically. And that's where they eventually find out that Joe Bob Finestra, who owns World Access America, I'm pretty sure is it World Access America? It's Web Access America. You know, I do research for these videos, so it's a bit embarrassing really that I've got the name wrong. But yeah, it's Web Access America, not World Access America. Come on. It's supposed to be researching, Adam. In your brain, just change history so that you think that I've said Web Access America every time. Yeah, good deal? Excellent, we'll continue. Joe Bob Finestra, the owner of Web Access America, turns out to be one of these people in this chat room. And eventually the Animorphs go to his mansion and shenanigans ensue. But in order to find out that information, they had to go to the headquarters. If we busted into WAA's main office, Marco began. Invade Web Access America? Rachel said, grinning. Yeah, Marco said. Invade Web Access America. Bust into their main computers. Get their screen names. And while we're at it, turn off that stupid program that keeps offering you a Web Access America Visa card. The headquarters of Web Access America was a couple of 100 miles away. That second quote is the most important one here. It's a couple 100 miles away. Now, further on in the series, specifically book 51, they decide to use mallard morphs to travel long distances. Of course, they hadn't thought of that at this stage, so their first instinct is to say, we're going to go to the airport and we're going to take a plane, which they do, but they don't book tickets, they go on as flies. And they eventually come out of the other end in this other airport. Sorry if I've got green stuff on my face. I'm drinking green smoothie. I have like 2 or 3 of these a week. They're freaking gorgeous. Although if you're not careful, it gets stuck in your mustache. They get to this airport and then they take a bus to WAA headquarters, and then they come back to the airport, and then they go off back to the hometown, and that's it. That's what we get of the airport. So why am I doing an AniLysis if they just arrive at an airport and then proceed to go wherever? We do get a couple of details about the airport, such as we made it off the plane with about 5 minutes to spare. 1 shaken up boy and 5 very impatient flies. They morphed in the bathrooms. I sat on a black plastic chair and held my head in my hands and tried to stop my fingers from shaking. After a while, I noticed Cassie sitting down in the chair beside me. She didn't say anything. She just put her arm around me and hugged me as well as she could while sitting. Rachel had gone to the Western Union office. We needed clothing, and it turns out you can send money by wire and pick it up by supplying a code word. Rachel went to pick up the money and get us something approaching shoes at an airport shop. We can take United or Northwest. These are the only details I know about the airport. So United and Northwest use this airport, which are 2 major American airlines. There's black plastic seating, which Jake and Cassie proceed to sit in, hence the picture, thanks to Adobe Firefly, generated of black plasticky seating. Well, it's not so much plastic, but it's probably made of some form of plastic at an airport. So that's why that picture is the way it is. And also there's a shop where they buy clothing there. And what's the other thing? And there's a Western Union office where Rachel sent money to and they withdrew it from there. So those are the only details we know about this airport. So again, you're asking, why is this important? Well, apart from the fact that it is essentially a major location during this mission, so in a way it already needs an AniLysis. But it's also where we get a very important chat between Jake and Cassie, and it started there in one of those quotes where Cassie comes over to see Jake, who's got his head in his hands. Why does he have his head in his hands? Because he decided for them all to go more fly, and he got swatted in the plane, and it was a pretty traumatic experience for Jake, and he's very much shaken up. And one of the best things about this book, The Warning, is Jake's fight with himself about his leadership, his role as a leader, and what it means to be a leader, especially when it comes to voicing his own issues. So you can just imagine Jake sat here on these chairs with his head in his hands, and Cassie coming over while the other animals are doing their own thing and having this heart-to-heart, because Jake is saying, I'm really scared, Cassie. Sometimes I don't know what to do, but I'm the leader and I can't show that, which in a way is correct, in a way, because you don't want your subordinates or the people beneath you seeing you as being weak or uncertain. But Cassie is right in saying, yeah, you don't want to do that, but you still need an outlet. And you can still pull a person aside, like myself, speaking as Cassie, and talk to me about the problems that you're having. And it's a brilliant chat. It started when they arrived at the airport here, very briefly, but then on the return journey, before they went back on the plane, they sat back down together again, and it progressed. The conversation became bigger. Cassie insists that Jake needs that outlet, and gives him that assurance that he can be the leader, even though he doubts himself at this point. This book is a major turning point for Jake, and it is a brilliant book, The Warning. Very underrated, this one. And this chat with Cassie was one of the major components of that, and it happened here in the other airport. Well worth rereading that part in The Warning. It comes in chapter 12 of The Warning, and yeah, it's brilliant. A great little scene. We didn't do you any favours when we made you leader, did we? Cassie asked. I forced a grim smile. There's something else a leader doesn't do, I said. Complain about being a leader. We did pick the right person, though, she said. Once again I started to walk away, but Cassie grabbed my arm. Look, maybe you're right, but I'll bet even great generals and presidents or whatever have friends that they can be honest with. People who would never lose faith in them, no matter what. Yeah, great little scene from The Warning that takes place in the other airport. So that's that. We can't do any schematics or maps of the airport because I've already given you what we're told about this airport. It's got black plastic seating in the arrivals lounge, I assume. And there's a clothes shop and a Western Union place. That's it. We can't lay out anything because there's nothing to go on. It's probably just laid out like a regular airport. And it's probably quite a big airport as well, because Web Access America is supposedly like the Animorphs series equivalent of AOL, and the headquarters for AOL are based in New York. You could say, well, if it's only a couple hundred miles away, then it's probably not in New York, but you can say it's probably based in a major city. Okay, so it's probably going to be a major airport, so big bugger off complex. So we're not going to attempt to draw it, just use your imagination for this one. It's the only time it's in the series as well, so far as I know. So yeah, that is the other airport. A nice little analysis there. So let's find out what's in the next analysis. We're still on the same amount of possible analyses, so from books 1 up to and including 25, with the first 2 Megamorphs, the first 2 Chronicles books, and Alternomorphs 1. So we could end up with Innis 226, we could end up with Askelin or Toby Hammy. So let's see what happens in the next analysis, shall we? On we go. Theme tune, theme tune, theme tune, theme tune, theme tune for the Spin the Wheel game. And what is it we have next time? Pontofala. Pontofala. I believe that's one of the elder Hork-Bajir in the Hork-Bajir Chronicles. Don't quote me on it. But that's who we're pretty sure that's a person. Who we're looking at next time on analysis. There's another small one. I'm getting so gifted with these ones lately. I've basically built up about 5 analyses now. And they've all they're ready to go public. Members of the channel get access early to such videos. Of course, by the time you see this one, those videos have all gone live. Just to make the point clear, I'm recording this video on the 19th of August. And this one will probably go up around the 19th of September, so we're about a month in advance. So, anyway, Pontofala is going to be the next AniLysis, and I hope you tune in for that one. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you somewhere else in the Animorphs universe. Ta-ra!